I am so shocked at these results. Welcome to another episode of Keto Chronicles, where I talk about my keto journey. This experiment is eating keto bread and low carb tortillas versus strict keto. I wanted this experiment to make it seem like I was just starting out keto because I see a lot of people saying, haven't really lost as much weight as you guys have. And so I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, it's got to be because of this keto bread and low carb tortillas. So that's why I wanted to do the experiment. So that's why I started off this experiment with eating non keto foods, just to make it seem like I was beginning keto to see if I'm going to lose weight faster if I stay away from those keto breads and low carb tortillas versus eating them. And the results are quite shocking. Before I go into my routine, I wanted to also note that I'm going into this completely biased. Okay. In my head, I was thinking, there's no way I'm going to lose weight quicker, or like I'm not even going to probably lose hardly anything with eating keto breads, just because I'm so adamant against having any sort of keto breads, low carb tortillas and everything. And wheat makes your blood sugar spike. So it's going to kick you out of ketosis. But I mean, you're still eating low carb and you still are in a calorie deficit. So how much difference is it going to be if you have keto bread versus not having it? And also note, if you're doing strict keto, this is just an absolute no anyway. But a lot of people do dirty keto, which is where you don't really pay attention to ingredients. You just stay under your 20 carbs or however many carbs that you have as a maximum. So there's that. So once again, for like the third time, non-keto foods, few days. Then I went into a more strict keto diet. Here's how day one started. I've been eating these bread substitutes, which are primarily cauliflower thins. They're fantastic. And I just put some chicken deli meat in there, some shredded lettuce. Then for dinner, I had some keto cinnamon toast crunch cereal that I make with pork rinds. So good. The next day, here's what I had. Day two, here's my salad. It's got some blackened chicken, mushrooms, cucumber, obviously lettuce, bacon, and Primal Kitchen Ranch because it's just avocado oil, no soybean oil. So that's what I'm having for lunch. Y'all, I'm not real hungry, so I'm just gonna have one of these Chick-fil-A biscuits for dinner. By the way, I also had a little bit of keto ice cream, maybe about a fourth of a cup. The following day, I had another keto sandwich with the cauliflower thin substitute. Then I also had these keto cookies, which a local bakery does. They were pretty good. And then for dinner, I wasn't really hungry, so I just had a couple of sausages with some sugar-free ketchup. So that was 3 days worth of strict keto eating. And my goal was really to hit around the 7 or 8 pound mark because that's generally what I lose in a week. So when the fourth morning came along and I weighed myself at like 5 in the morning, which is when I always do, and I noticed that I had lost over 6 pounds already, I was like, I want to give this keto bread stuff a shot. And that's quite a bit of weight loss in just 3 days. So I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and go to the non keto eating again and then start with the keto bread. Because once again, in my mind, I'm like, I'm biased. This is going to take forever for me to lose just a little over 6 pounds for the keto bread and low carb tortillas, right? We all know it's water weight at the beginning. This might not be the best experiment or whatever, but once again, I'm trying to do, if someone is starting out, will it help progress or not? You get it? So starting day one, here's what I had for lunch. Day one of the keto bread experiment. I have a sandwich here that I just made with deli chicken and some melty cheese and shredded lettuce. I do have some chipotle mayo on there, avocado oil, and then some chips, which are the wild protein chips that, yep, I do use no matter what. And then I was on a Facebook group and asked them, well, what do y'all use? Because I don't know. And most of them said this one. It's 1 net carb per slice. I don't know how this is going to go, but this is lunch for day one. For dinner, I ended up making that keto taco casserole video. And so I had some of that for dinner because it had low carb tortillas in it. Fits right in. The next day, here's what I had for lunch and dinner. Day two, same thing, the chips, the sola bread, and just chicken, cheese, shredded lettuce. All right, for dinner, I'm just having some chicken with some bacon and lettuce with some ranch avocado oil. And here's what I did the next day. Day 3, I'm having a little bit of the keto taco casserole. Okay, I had 2 of these keto cinnamon roll flats. Dinner is a repeat, taco casserole. I added some hot sauce and salsa. The following morning, I decided to weigh myself because that would be the same amount of time, the 4th day in the morning, 5 a.m., and see how much weight I had lost with the keto bread and low carb tortillas. My starting weight was 182.6. I ended up weighing 178.4. So that's 4.2 pounds lost in 3 days. But that's still over 2 pounds. I think 2.5 pounds, somewhere around there. That's kind of iffy, right? But still, I mean, I lost weight. The following 3 days, I didn't record anything. It was just the same thing that I ate, the sandwiches for lunch. And then I either had a salad with grilled chicken on there, or I had the taco casserole, which had the low carb tortillas in it. On Sunday, though, I had a Jason's Deli salad with chicken and some egg in there. And then for dinner, believe it or not, I didn't really eat anything. I just kind of finished off that salad because it was too much for me during the day. The next day, I weighed myself and I was 177.0. So in 7 days, I lost 5.6 pounds. I mean, that's pretty good if you're having these keto breads and low carb tortillas. To me, that was shocking results. I was fully planning on losing maybe 3 pounds in 1 week. So to see over 5 pounds while I'm eating keto bread is fantastic to me. Once again, though, I do still feel a little bit odd about eating the keto breads and low carb tortillas because essentially that's wheat. It's all made of wheat. And the whole point of being on keto is to stay in ketosis, and this stuff is going to kick you out. You will lose weight, of course, because once again, you're on the low carb train and you're at a calorie deficit. But are you in ketosis or staying in ketosis is a whole nother situation, which is, I think, probably why I ended up losing more weight the other way around. So the pros for eating keto bread and low carb tortillas, for one, is I definitely lost weight. So if for some reason you just can't seem to not have your sandwich, it's up to you on whether you want to have it or not. That brings me into the second pro, that you can have your breads and your tortillas and your wraps and all of that just fine, I guess, while trying to lose weight. But we need to move on to the cons. That might change your mind. This is probably the only con that you're really going to have and just branches out the rest of the cons. And that's that you're losing all of the benefits you have if you're in ketosis. I felt so tired and I had very low energy. I don't know how I really pulled it off because I felt so tired and like I needed to have 3 cups of coffee just at Hey Luz, just to wake up in the morning. And I don't drink coffee. And throughout the day, I didn't have as much energy as I should have and how I did when I was actually in ketosis. And that's where I think the whole ketosis thing comes into play here. Because when you're in ketosis, you have higher energy. You're able to get up and function and everything. And I just was not when I was eating these breads and low carb tortillas. Now, I know some of you are going to be like, well, I didn't have them every day or I won't eat them every day. And I completely get that. And I would suggest that you not have that every day. But once again, this was a keto bread experiment. You can't like not have keto bread one day, or the tortillas. So I would suggest if you are going to do the keto breads and low carb tortillas, definitely eat them sparingly, like once or twice a week, because you might lose that benefit of having the energy and all of that. Okay. The other con is that I felt hungrier too. Now you'll notice I don't have a lot of fats most of the time for anything. I always like to hit my protein goals or at least attempt to, because that's a goal. Your fat goal is more like a lever. The fat is going to be there to help satiate you and also to get your body prepped to be eating its own fat. You got to kind of let it know, hey, here's a good source of something over here if you're lacking over here, right? So it's always good to up your fats. But I don't know, I've been doing keto for so long that I guess my body just already knows. So I don't tend to have a whole lot of fats, regardless of whether I'm eating strict keto or with the keto breads. But when I was with, I can't say but, when I was on the strict keto portion of it, I wasn't hungry because I'm generally not hungry. My body is kind of used to eating that particular stuff. But when I was having the bread and the tortillas, I was hungry all the time. Like I would wake up hungry, and I never was like that. Yes, you can definitely lose weight with it, but you lose the great benefits of being in ketosis along with it. So, and you also don't lose weight as fast. So, I mean, it's still good, but it's kind of bad too. So, it's really up to you to decide on what you want to do with that. Y'all, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and hitting that bell. I'll see you guys next time.